I'm going to start with some just like messing, because we don't understand probability, right? So I just want to make that absolutely clear. Maybe you're some kind of probability savant, but that's not really the case. We're pretty good. We have occasional people who can count how many matchsticks there are on the floor, right? That sort of seems to be within our realm of whatever. And we understand some kinds of probability, playing sports, whatever. People can do some pretty interesting things, anticipating and so on. I mean, we're not terrible at prediction, but some kinds of probability, our brains just don't work, right? So a couple of classic questions, and I'll talk about the child born on a Tuesday one in the next couple of slides. But the Monty Hall problem, right? So is this something that's in your minds? This is a famous problem, yeah. So let me just, it's more, the show is more complicated, but the game essentially that, because it could be messed with, you're presented with 3 doors, right? You know this one? Yeah. 3 doors, and behind 2 of those doors are goats. Good old goats. Goats are great, it's a good thing to win, but another one is a car. So this is sort of, and it's America, so everyone wants a car, right? So you're supposed to think of the goats as bad, right? Some people will be like, I want the goat, right? So we just want to be clear on that. The goats are not the thing to choose. So the setup is you choose one of the doors, 1, 2, 3, and they're randomly assigned, right? You choose one of the doors, and the next step is the compere or whatever opens one of the other doors that you haven't chosen and shows you a goat, right? And then says, do you want to change, right? Do you want to stay? There's no money involved at this point. It's just like, do you just want to change, right? It's not like doubling the bet or 2 cars or anything. Do you want to change? And I know many of you have heard of it, but the instinctive feeling is like it shouldn't matter, right? Right? That's sort of a standard gut reaction. And when this first became a well-known sort of famous problem, it was asked a lot in job interviews. This is sort of early on, like even before Google started to ask all these things about manhole covers, like why are they round? This is probably gone by now, I think. Like I don't think you have to worry about this. At some point they started to put up billboards with cryptic Unix things on them, and that no one could even understand it was a billboard from Google, right? I mean, it was just some hieroglyphics, and then you had to like do some coding and get on the team, and then do evil things in the world. But anyway, so this it's very famous because it is something that upsets people, and famously, I think it's Marion von Savant, right? So she's a puzzle kind of person, super high IQ story, right? That kind of thing where it's like, the IQ is like 190 or something, and they get to write puzzles. And I think she worked for either Parade magazine or something like that, and she would have puzzles, and people would, try to answer them or whatever. And she put this one in, and then gave the answer, and then got all this mail, which was then became public, printed of it, including from statistics professors explaining how she was wrong. She was an idiot. Really bad. I mean, just really bad. I mean, statistics professors got this wrong, and wrote letters, to, wow. Anyway, so the thing is, it's 2/3, right? So there's a 2/3 chance the car will be in the other one because you've had this. Well, let's just do it, and it's easy to. I'll mess it up like an idiot. But here are the 3 possible worlds, right? So it could be, there's door 1, 2, and 3. Is this showing up? And then, it's goat, and car, right? I should draw a goat. Anyway, it's got little horns on it, right? So there's and a tail. So these are the 3 possible things, and these are equal chances as you enter into this world, right? There are funny things happen on that show where they would do other, that didn't make it quite as clean as this. Car, and there's 3-card Monty. I once watched my aunt get totally taken for a ride on 5th Avenue. It was fantastic. The key thing was she wasn't playing. Someone else was playing, and then the guy said, well, what do you think? You want to put some money on it? And she's like, oh, this is fine. Like, I'm not playing. But she was playing. And usually someone else changes the cards when you're not watching. So these are the 3 possibilities, right? So, and if you say, you're going to choose one, right? So 1/3 of the time you're right. And in this case, the person revealing the other door has free choice. But if we're in these worlds, they have to either reveal this goat or this goat. So they're forced, Like it feels like when they open that other thing and they just show you a goat, like, you know, they're not imparting information to you. But if you step back and see the parallel worlds, you go, you know, maybe that's the thing we can't do quite as easily, right? Is run the parallel timelines in our heads. Darkest timeline situation, right? So there are actually two of these cases. They are forced to reveal the goat and the car is in the other one. So you should always switch. But it doesn't feel easy to understand. Like, it's not easy to intuit. Anyway, it's a famous example of that. And as I said, lots of people got it wrong, and famously statistics professors. I love it. Okay, so this is just a Radio Lab. Some of the old Radio Lab is good, and this is just a nice little piece. Bamford's Law we'll come to later on. This is why you shouldn't cheat on taxes. There are other reasons for not cheating on taxes, but this is also a good reason. We're not very good at making up random numbers. Okay, so this is a really nice piece, and it has it leads off with how babies tend to do better with logarithmic scales, and then we force the whole counting business on top. And there are groups of people in the world who don't have counting systems, but will distinguish between like 1 and 10 and 100 in a kind of an even way, which is very interesting. So anyway, we get the counting in, and then we forget about log scales, so we'll lose it a little bit. Dunning-Kruger effect, I'm just going to mention it because you should all know about that. You should totally know about this. If you don't know about this, you must look it up. It's very disturbing. Then you think, ha ha ha, everyone else has it, and then you realize you have it, and then you forget about it. Okay, so